Today we are going to rebut Prager University's argument about the progressive income tax. I'm going to play the video, debunk it point by point, and then make some points of my own in part 2.
Once upon a time, there were 3 brothers, triplets, named Tom, Dick, and Harry Class. They were raised in the same home with the same parents, had the same IQ, same skills, and same opportunities. Each was married and had 2 children. They were all carpenters making $25 per hour.
I know the entire video is an anecdote. However, you have to make the anecdote realistic. 3 brothers with the same opportunities, etc. is ludicrous. When you're applying this to America as a whole, you have to make the characters represent real Americans. Tom is a woman of color, makes minimum wage, working 2 jobs, 60 hours a week, because her family could not afford secondary education. She is trying to pay back high-interest debt. Dick is middle class, works as a school teacher, and is paying back student debt. Harry, on the other hand, is a broker. His parents paid for his education and a tutor to help him from struggling in school. Tom, Dick, and Harry all have the same IQ, although this is not how we should measure intelligence. There, I fixed it for you, Prager University.
While they were very similar in all these respects, they had different priorities. For example, Tom chose to work 20 hours per week, while his brother Dick worked 40 hours, and Harry 60. It should also be noted that Harry's wife worked full-time as an office manager for a salary of $50,000. Dick's wife sold real estate part-time 10 hours a week and made $25,000 per year. Tom's wife did not work. Tom and Dick spent all of their family income. Since they paid into Social Security, they figured they didn't need to save for retirement. Harry and his wife, on the other hand, had, over many years, put away money each month and invested it in stocks and bonds.
Tom and Dick didn't save for retirement because they could barely make ends meet. Harry, on the other hand, could easily save for retirement because he was making much more than both Tom and Dick combined.
Here's how it worked out. Tom made $25,000 a year. Dick and his wife made $75,000, and Harry and his wife $150,000.
Tom made $22,000 a year, which put her right above the poverty line. Dick made the nominal median salary of $32,000 a year, and Harry made $1.32 million a year, the average income yearly of the top 1%.
When a new housing development opened up in their community, the brothers decided to buy equally priced homes on the same private street. One day, the brothers decided to pool their funds for the purpose of improving their street. Concerned about crime and safety, and wanting a more attractive setting for their homes, the 3 families decided to install a security gate at the street's entrance, repave the street's surface, and enhance the lighting and landscaping. The work was done for a total cost of $30,000. Harry assumed they would divide the bill 3 ways, each brother paying $10,000. But Tom and Dick objected. "Why should we pay the same as you?" they said. "You make much more money than we do." Harry was puzzled. "What does that have to do with anything?" he asked. "My family makes more money because my wife and I work long hours and because we have saved some of the money we've earned to make additional money from investments. Why should we be penalized for that?" "Harry, you can work and save all you like," Tom countered. "But my wife and I want to enjoy ourselves now, not 25 years from now."
Harry assumed they would divide the bill 3 ways, each brother paying $10,000. But Tom and Dick objected. "Why should we pay the same as you? You make 24.5 times more than our combined salaries." Harry was puzzled. "Why does my overly privileged and lucky upbringing have to do with anything? My family makes money because my parents paid for my Ivy League degree and set me up with connections in the brokerage business. Why should I be penalized for my birthright?" "Harry, you can work and save all you like," Tom countered, "but my wife and I have to survive right now. We can't think of 25 years in the future."
"Fine, Tom. Do what you want. It's a free country. But why should I have to pay for that?" "I can't believe you're being so unbrotherly," Tom argued. You have a lot of money and I don't. I thought you'd be more generous. At this point, Dick, the peacemaker in the family, entered the conversation. I've got an idea, Dick said. Our combined income is $250,000, and $30,000 is 12% of that amount. Why don't we each pay that percentage of our income? Under that formula, Tom would pay $3,000, I would pay $9,000, and Harry would pay $18,000.
What Prager University is doing here is treating Tom as if he is the pragmatic, reasonable brother. Prager University knows that advocating for Harry's idea, or aggressive income tax, is too extreme. So they instead equate it with what they call a progressive income tax and attempts to make the progressive income tax sound extreme. Then call Dick the peacemaker or compromiser to push their agenda, a flat or proportional tax. Just to be clear, a proportional income tax would be an extreme idea in our current political context. I will get into why both regressive and proportional tax systems are detrimental.
I have a much better idea, said Tom, and one that's fairer than what you're proposing. Dick and Harry turned to Tom. Harry should pay $23,450. Dick, you should pay $6,550. And I will pay nothing. To Dick, this sounded completely arbitrary and not really fair, but it did have one big plus. His share would be $2,450 less under Tom's formula than under his own. So, he decided to be silent. Harry, however, was stunned. You want me to pay almost 80% of the bill despite the fact that each of us is receiving the exact same benefits? Where did you get such a crazy idea? From no less an authority than the U.S. government, Tom responded as he pulled out a gray booklet. It's all right here in the IRS tax tables. This is the progressive income tax system all U.S. taxpayers live under, and I don't see why we should be any different. In fact, I believe all future improvements should be paid in this way.
The graph is misleading. Harry makes the threshold of the top 10%. However, he is by no means an average individual in the top 10%. In addition, someone's income is usually not correlated with how hard they work. America is not a meritocracy. The correlation between someone's parents' income and their own is large in every single country on Earth. However, this correlation declines with a more progressive income tax. The people who pay the highest taxes are not working class. Inequality in America is astounding. The people who pay the top marginal tax rate and most of the federal income taxes make multiple times what the average worker makes. It only makes sense to tax them, and the people who are paying only 3% of the taxes largely had little chance to make it at all due to lack of opportunities. So why shouldn't we give them a chance by taxing them with low tax rates and giving them social benefits?
Works for me, said Dick. So, by a vote of 2-1, the cost of the street improvements was divided as Tom had proposed, even though they benefited equally, and even though the reason Harry had more money was that he and his wife had worked many more hours than his brothers and their wives, and had saved some of what they had earned, instead of spending it all.
Let me point this out again. While some members of the top 10% are self-made, many of these people are privileged and had parents who helped them throughout life. These people also make dozens and sometimes thousands of times more than the average worker. Harry is a misleading personification of what the top 10% really is. He is a misinformed and hard-working man and allows Prager University to not look at real data, instead focus on an anecdote.
Tom and Dick lived happily ever after with their new arrangement. Harry grumbled a lot, but whenever he complained, his brothers called him greedy and selfish. The end.
In conclusion, the story is unrealistic. PragerU frames the video as if the progressive income tax allows for the poor to leech off the rich, while not putting in any real work. However, this is simply not the case. PragerU gives 3 identical brothers which represent different income brackets. The brothers allow for Prager University to act as if wealth is based solely off of choices, when in fact wealth is more heavily based off of family income and education. Thanks for watching. It would mean a lot to me if you liked the video. Subscribe to stay updated and get notified for part 2. In part 2, I will focus on why progressive income tax is more fair and how it is beneficial to the economy.